And so many people are trying to make it a partisan thing, like they're mad at people for being there. Like, oh, you support Trump. Like, it's a fucking fight at the White House. Yeah. Doesn't mean you endorse foreign policy. Like, shut the fuck up.
MAGA is ending. And I think it ended with that UFC fight. I think that was the last party MAGA was going to throw. You had motocross, you had UFC fights. For the die-hard MAGA people, this is what they got. They were promised a lot of other stuff. But this is what they got.
He and Joe Rogan talking about before the decision was read.
I don't know, dude. The UFOs, man, APAC, I don't fucking know, dog. Like, how he did Theo dirty, you know? Who fucking knows?
It's fair to say Joe Rogan has been facing one of the toughest stretches of his career. By 2026, many people believe his public image has taken a major hit. Criticism seems to be coming from every direction, including longtime fans, old friends, and even some people in conservative circles who once backed him without much hesitation.
I mean, they've got to be terrified. I don't know much about anything, but I would be scared to fight a country that is having a fist fight on the White House lawn. That's how bad and crazy we are. Like, we're fighting at the president's house, each other.
Yeah.
We're going to fuck you up.
I'm not thrilled about that.
Why are you not looking forward to the White House fight?
Well, it's kind of a gimmick, you know.
Of course.
There's that. And, you know, people are criticizing the card, but if it was any other card, it's a great card. Mm-hmm. They're criticizing it because they said it was going to be the greatest card of all time. And it's just going to be a security nightmare.
That's true.
You're on the White House lawn. Also, they're fighting outside. What if it rains? What if it's hot? You're in the middle of June.
Right.
June in D.C. can get pretty warm.
Yep.
That affects fighters. It's like violence. There's going to be a UFC on the White House lawn.
Yeah.
That seems like a good, safe place to be, huh? Everyone's going to know where all the world leaders are going to be. We're all going to be stuck sitting in that spot for 6 hours calling fights.
You're going to be there, right?
Super safe. I feel completely safe.
You're going to be there, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to be there.
Do you like the concept of it or no?
I do not like it.
A growing number of people are now asking whether Rogan is still living by the same standards that helped build his reputation in the first place. One issue that keeps coming up is that he has not publicly responded to reports that several billionaire acquaintances and former podcast guests have reportedly been mentioned in connection with the Epstein files, and that silence has become part of the wider debate surrounding him. Many people have pointed out that someone known for challenging powerful institutions has shown very little interest in talking about a subject that has sparked years of public debate and speculation. That silence has caught the attention of a lot of viewers, with some questioning why it has received so little discussion on his platform. Then the conversation got even louder after Joe's episode with Theo Von started spreading across social media.
Some people would look at you like, why you're working for a cage fighting organization? Why would you do that? Cut to 25 years later, it's on the lawn of the White House, and it is one of the most watched sporting events in the history of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know what the total overall views are as of now, but I know that it was like well over, I think it was 150 million just by Monday.
Unbelievable.
Just by Monday. So that's like the night of, and then people that watched the replay that weren't there when the fight took place because they heard about it. But now between then and now we're dealing with Tuesday. Like, it's probably another 50 or 60 million people have watched it.
Many viewers felt Joe pushed back on or dismissed Theo's concerns when Theo criticized Palantir, Israel, the conflict involving Iran, and the Trump administration. Those clips quickly went viral, and the debate became so widespread that even Sean Strickland ended up commenting on the situation. Looking back at the first half of 2026, it's not hard to understand why Joe Rogan has been facing so much criticism. Between several viral moments, his repeated visits to the White House, and his well-known friendship with Donald Trump, even some longtime supporters have started asking tough questions. People who used to defend nearly everything he said are now wondering if he's changed in ways they never expected. Online critics have also argued that Rogan seems especially cautious whenever discussions involve powerful political figures or influential business leaders, including people such as Peter Thiel. Whether those claims are fair or not, they have become a regular talking point across social media. Every time Joe appears to take a softer stance or shifts his position on a controversial issue, the debate quickly flares up again, with supporters and critics weighing in from every side. Many critics point to the UFC event held on the White House lawn this month as a clear example of what they mean. Before the event even happened, Joe spent several podcast episodes explaining why he wasn't convinced it was a good idea. He questioned the entire concept, suggested it could end up being a disaster, and said the event felt a little too gimmicky for his taste. At the time, he came across as genuinely doubtful about how everything would turn out, and plenty of viewers noticed how skeptical he sounded. Then the event finally happened, and many viewers felt Joe's tone changed completely. Afterward, he praised it as one of the biggest sporting events ever. He also suggested it had reached an audience larger than the Super Bowl, mentioning figures of more than 150 million views in just a few days. Those numbers quickly became another huge topic online after reports and public estimates suggested the audience may have been much lower than those early claims. According to those reports, the total was estimated at around 10 million views. That's still a massive audience by almost any standard, and very few events ever reach numbers like that. At the same time, critics pointed out that it would still be well below the audience typically associated with the Super Bowl and below the viewership that some NFL games attract during the regular season. Because of that, plenty of people pushed back on the comparisons almost immediately. Some observers even argued that Jake Paul's Netflix MMA event the previous month may have drawn a larger overall audience. Even with that debate continuing online, Joe kept describing the White House UFC card as one of the greatest sports that only added another layer to the ongoing debate around Joe's comments. Then another moment grabbed even more attention. During a podcast released the following week with a guest who studies government influence campaigns and psychological operations, Joe argued that people shouldn't turn the UFC event into a political debate. Instead, he encouraged viewers to enjoy the fights for what they were and appreciate the spectacle. That reaction surprised a lot of people because many viewers already believed the event carried clear political symbolism. Critics pointed out that Donald Trump was a major presence throughout the night, making it difficult, in their view, to separate the action inside the cage from the broader political atmosphere surrounding the event. That contrast quickly became another hot topic across social media. Whether people agreed or disagreed, the political debate quickly became impossible to ignore. Some commentators argued that the timing of the event drew attention away from other major national stories, including the ongoing public discussion surrounding the Epstein files. Critics have also said that Joe has spent relatively little time addressing that subject, despite his reputation for digging into controversial issues. Supporters push back on that criticism, saying the claims are unfair, but the debate continues to pop up across social media whenever the topic comes up. At the same time, there's another side to the story. From a pure entertainment standpoint, many fight fans felt the event delivered exactly what they were hoping to see. The card included exciting finishes, several knockout victories, dramatic fighter entrances with live music, and an atmosphere that many viewers described as unlike almost anything the UFC had produced before. As a sporting event, plenty of fans thought it was a huge success. At the same time, others continued to view it through a political lens. For many people, those two perspectives are not mutually exclusive. Someone can enjoy the fights while also understanding why others saw the event as carrying broader political meaning.
Amazing. One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life.
That's cool.
It was fucking amazing.
Wish I was there.
Oh my God. I talked a bunch of people into going that didn't want to, like Shane Gillis was thinking about not going. I'm like, bro, you gotta go. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be a once ever thing, not a once in a lifetime, once in anybody's lifetime. It's never happened before. It's probably never gonna happen again.
Probably not.
No. Like,
Yeah.
That's something you have to see and experience.
Yeah.
And it's so many people are trying to make it a partisan thing. Like they're mad at people for being there. Like, oh, you support Trump. Like it's a fucking fight at the White House. Yeah. Doesn't mean you endorse foreign policy. Like, shut the fuck up.
That's
please,
too much.
Just please stop. And again, it's this thing, the ego thing, where people are they just want so badly. And on both sides, for sure. You know, the right celebrates this as a win for masculinity and patriotism and all these different things. Like, okay, settle down. Everybody settle down.
Yeah.
We should all be together. And, I mean, change your mind.
Yeah.
Like, change your whole perspective. And there's no better way to change your whole perspective than a complete dissolving of your ego momentarily. Just, at least for a while, just lock it all away, push it out, and then you get a chance to see what it actually is doing.
Plenty of people in attendance seemed fully aware that the night would spark political debate alongside everything happening inside the cage. One detail that also caught the attention of many fans involved Theo Von. Theo has been to countless UFC events over the years and has openly shared how much he enjoys the sport. He's often been seen sitting in the crowd, even during the early preliminary fights, simply because he's known as a dedicated MMA fan. That's why some fans quickly noticed he wasn't at this particular event and started wondering if the surrounding controversy had anything to do with it. Of course, only Theo knows the real reason for his absence, but the speculation spread fast across social media and became another topic of discussion. Shane Gillis also weighed in after the event. During an episode of Legion of Skanks, Shane said he had seriously thought about skipping the White House card before ultimately deciding to go. His comments added another layer to the broader conversation about how comedians and other public figures chose to approach the event. One of the most talked about parts was how differently people reacted depending on who showed up. For example, Nate Bargatze received plenty of criticism online simply for attending, while Shane Gillis appeared to avoid much of that same backlash, according to many online observers. That difference caught the attention of a lot of people because both comedians are among the biggest names in stand-up today and regularly sell out arenas across the country. Nate has generally stayed away from political discussions and rarely spends much time on podcasts, while Shane has built a much bigger online presence through interviews, podcast appearances, and comedy content. Even though both have highly successful stand-up careers, the public reaction after the event ended up looking surprisingly different, giving people even more to debate across social media. The conversation took another unexpected turn just days later when Hunter Biden posted a lengthy criticism of Joe Rogan on social media. Interestingly, while criticizing Rogan, he also made it clear that he likes Shane Gillis and did not criticize him for wanting to attend what he described as a unique live event. That unexpected distinction quickly became another headline in the already non-stop debate surrounding the White House UFC card, Joe Rogan's evolving public image, and the growing criticism following him throughout 2026. Many online observers have also noticed that Shane Gillis has largely avoided the kind of backlash that has affected several other comedians, and that has surprised plenty of people. Whether that continues is another question. Some commentators believe that appearing at a highly political event can increase the chances of public criticism, especially as the political climate keeps shifting and audiences become more divided.
Yeah, it was
crazy
crazy.
event.
It was crazy.
So good.
The best was like in between fights, they'd blast like, "Let the bodies hit the floor." This is insane.
At the White House?
Yeah, at the White House.
The White House.
Yeah. I almost didn't go, but they got me. They posted a video of them doing like dirt bikes, and I was like,
I did see the dirt bike video.
The dirt bikes
I was like,
was
this
what
is
did it for me.
fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, I have to go.
This is
see
our country. It's motocross in front of the White House on the lawn.
Oh, they did like metal militia type, like dirt bike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were doing ramps.
They were
on
doing
the-
like flips and shit, like just like
literally with dirt ramps on the lawn.
That sounds awesome.
It made me go.
You went
I
to
was
the dirt-
not gonna go.
Come
And
for
I
the
saw-
dirt ramp,
saw
stay
the
for the UFC.
flyover dirt bikes. I was like, man,
Flyovers were pretty cool.
flyovers were sick.
I saw you on TMZ and they were interviewing you, and then Tony was walking right next to you. You could tell he really wanted to be interviewed too, but he couldn't say anything. So I'd just be like,
What do you think I thought about
He
the
would
comment?
have. He would have done me no favors if he would have jumped in.
"Oh yeah."
Even though Shane avoided most of the headlines this time, and even though Hunter Biden publicly drew a distinction between Shane and Joe Rogan, that doesn't mean the discussion has gone away. People across social media continue to debate how public figures are judged for attending high-profile events, and those conversations show no sign of slowing down. In fact, several comedians have started openly questioning Shane Gillis's connections with Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, and other public figures who are often associated with Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. Those discussions have added another layer to the ongoing debate surrounding comedy, politics, and public perception. One example is comedian Alex Perlman. Perlman, who has said he knows Shane personally, shared a strongly worded criticism aimed not only at Shane but also at several comedians connected to Rogan's circle. He argued that many of them attend political events while also trying to avoid being viewed through a political lens, and his comments quickly spread across social media, sparking even more discussion. Whether people agreed with him or not, his remarks definitely got people talking. For many viewers, the criticism stood out because it came from someone who appeared to have personal familiarity with several of the people involved. That gave his comments a very different feel compared with the usual reactions posted by strangers online. Naturally, plenty of others disagreed with his perspective, but his comments added another layer to the growing debate surrounding Joe Rogan's comedy circle. For years, being closely connected to Rogan was widely seen as a major advantage for comedians. That's one reason many people started referring to the Rogan sphere.
one of the things that what caught me off guard was after the Josh Hokett stuff, you had Barstool's Dave Portnoy, saying that the president needs to denounce this, and I was like, what? Portnoy's saying this? Shane Gillis was like, I didn't like the comment, but I was like, last week you were like, and you had your hand around Hinchcliffe's balls, like fondling them because you were like, I loved the fucking joke about how that black guy got killed by a cop. That was so fun. But he was like, but not in front of the
George
White
Floyd
House.
joke.
Yeah. Not.
Dude, well, and here's the thing. As you said before, that your friend said that this is what Hokett would say, right? I looked it up. Dana White said almost verbatim what Shane said 6 fucking months ago when that fighter said this shit about Brittany Griner. And I think he's also said shit about Michelle Obama. And, like, not to get all fuck you to Shane, but Shane's also made the same exact joke on his fucking podcast. Him coming out and just going, I didn't like that. You didn't have to go, Shane. You didn't have to fucking go. You knew what it was.
Well,
I saw you getting caught on the way in. You got caught by CNN going on the way in, and they asked you how you got a ticket. Joe gave you a ticket. Fuck off. Joe Rogan's your best friend. Joe Rogan believes that he's using Trump. Joe Rogan is Trump's little bitch dog. And you're the dog walker. That's who you are, Shane. I'm sorry. I've known you for a long time. I could probably text you this shit. I don't give a fuck. Because we're clowns, boy. We're fucking clowns. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of Nate Bargatze being like, no, I'm family friendly. You've been MAGA the whole time. Guys, stop pretending you're not MAGA. Just stop. I'm tired of the fucking, at least Tony Hinchcliffe, for as shitty as he is as comedy, that everybody now knows. Now they've seen his Netflix special. 9 fucking minutes of where do you work, Tony? 9 fucking minutes? Or what do you do for a living? That's what you came to for your hour? You piece of shit with your fucking belt buckle. That's not going to replace your father's love. The fucking bullshit with all of these guys. All fucking claim. At least Tony straight up admits he's MAGA. Joe tries to play this bullshit. I'm independent right now. Kamala would have been worse. Would have been worse for the 150 dead Iranian girls? Would have been worse for everybody in the fucking Epstein files? Would have been worse for our local fucking hospitals? Would have been worse for everything that we fucking lived through for the last 18 fucking months, Joe? Or did you need to take your daughters to the White House and tell them don't stand too close to Uncle Donnie the entire time, you fucking stupid fuck? If one person in your life loved you, Joe, they would have taught you how to buy a tie that fucking fits. You standing out there holding that microphone with your limp little fucking wrist. I hate you. Fuck you. And back to Shane real fast. Shane, you've hidden so fucking long of playing this game. Oh, he's a secret lib. You don't fucking denounce anything. You just stand around half the time and go, I didn't like that. Okay, you went. You fucking went. And I know people are going to be like, oh, yeah, Pro-Mania, you went to the fucking White House. Yeah, I went. And I fucking denounced them on all the bullshit they were doing about other shit the entire time, too. I fucking told them to their faces they're fucking idiots. There's a thing that we have to do. There's a moment here. If you want to be a clown, then be a fucking clown. Be a clown all the goddamn time.
His massive audience introduced countless comics to millions of viewers, helping many expand their careers far more quickly than they might have on their own, making those relationships an even bigger topic of discussion. But the landscape looks very different today. This isn't 2019 anymore, and the podcast world has become far more crowded. Dozens of major comedy podcasts are now attracting huge audiences, giving comedians many more ways to reach fans without relying on Joe Rogan's platform. Because of that, some commentators argue that appearing on the Joe Rogan Experience no longer delivers the same career boost it once did. Even Ari Schaffer recently touched on that idea during an appearance on a Barstool podcast. Ari suggested that simply being friends with Joe Rogan doesn't have the same professional value it once carried. Since Ari has been one of Rogan's longtime friends and collaborators, those comments caught the attention of many viewers and quickly became part of the wider conversation. That doesn't mean Rogan has lost his influence. He still hosts one of the biggest podcasts in the world, and many guests continue to benefit from appearing on the show. Even so, some critics argue that the overall impact isn't as automatic as it once seemed, especially now that audiences have more choices than ever, and successful podcasts exist across nearly every corner of the comedy world. Some critics also believe the conversations on the show have changed quite a bit over the years. They argue that episodes now spend more time focused on politics, culture war issues, vaccines, California, or Donald Trump instead of the wide mix of topics that originally attracted such a broad audience. Supporters, however, see that shift very differently and often say those discussions reflect what many listeners are interested in. Even so, it's one of the most common criticisms people continue to raise when talking about the show today. Others have also suggested that comedians don't always get the same chance to simply relax and joke around during long podcast conversations the way they once did. Whether that's a fair criticism depends on the guest, but it's another point that keeps coming up whenever people compare today's version of the show with its earlier years. People also bring up comedians like Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub when debating whether repeated appearances on the Joe Rogan Experience still guarantee career momentum. Critics argue that going on JRE alone isn't enough to overcome bigger career challenges or reshape public perception. In the end, they say long-term success still depends on many different factors beyond a single podcast appearance, no matter how large the audience may be. More broadly, many critics believe Joe Rogan's credibility has taken a noticeable hit over the past year. Whether that view is fully justified remains a matter of debate, but there's little doubt that conversations about his influence have become far more divided than they once were. One subject that keeps resurfacing is the Epstein files, which continues to generate discussion across social media and in political commentary. Some critics question why Rogan has not publicly pressed political figures, including Donald Trump, about that issue despite reports describing a friendly relationship between them. Others argue it's unfair to speculate about private conversations or assume what has or hasn't been discussed behind closed doors. Since those conversations are not public, there's no way to know exactly what was said. People have also compared Rogan's approach with that of other comedians and podcasters. Tim Dillon, for example, has publicly discussed encouraging political figures to provide greater transparency regarding the Epstein files. Supporters of that position argue the issue deserves continued attention regardless of political affiliation, and they believe many voters are still looking for more answers. At the end of the day, the growing criticism surrounding Joe Rogan doesn't appear to be tied to just one interview, one UFC event, or one controversial moment. Instead, many people see it as the result of a longer pattern that has built up over time. Whether that view is fair or not, it's an argument that keeps showing up across social media, podcasts, and online discussions. Critics often argue that whenever conversations involve Donald Trump, Palantir, or influential billionaire acquaintances, Rogan seems less skeptical than he was earlier in his career. Supporters strongly reject that claim, while others believe it reflects a noticeable change from the image that first made him popular. That disagreement has become one of the biggest points of debate surrounding his public persona. That's what so much of this conversation now revolves around. What's especially striking is how many different voices have joined the discussion. It's no longer limited to random posts online.
Vance, I said, just release everything. I'm a podcaster. I have no real power, but just release everything. Release every file you have. Release everything. They've not done that. But that's the only way. That's the only way that you can wash your hands of this. You release everything. You commission an independent investigation. You have Ghislaine Maxwell testify. All this stuff. You got to do it. If you don't do it, you'll be inherently suspect forever. It's just what it is. It's maximum transparency, or you're suspect forever. And then there's no amount of UFC fights on the White House lawn. There's no amount of fireworks, and there's no amount of military flyovers you can do that are going to satisfy people, because everybody's going to go, you are participating in a cover-up of the worst crime imaginable. It's very simple.
Questions and criticism are now coming from comedians, former fans, political commentators, and even some longtime conservative viewers who previously supported much of what Rogan had to say, showing just how broad the debate has become. Whether Joe Rogan genuinely believes every opinion he shares, or whether people are interpreting his comments differently, is something only he can answer. What is clear, though, is that the public conversation surrounding him has changed in a big way, and the debate doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. As more voices join the discussion, the questions surrounding his influence and public image continue to grow. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who would find this discussion interesting. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the criticism of Joe Rogan is fair, or do you think it's being exaggerated? I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.